the Century Club, show 100. We are here. Welcome to Wire to Wire Sports Podcast. I am your host, Gene Walzak. And to my right, I got the man, the myth, the legend. He's looking down at his phone. He's back with us. Scholastic Shally.
What's going on, boys?
What's popping, baby? To my left, I got Kent State's own, Cleveland's own, the Browns' own, College Cottrell.
Yeah, put me in the game, coach.
Are you ready to play?
I am.
I'm ready to play, baby. I'm ready to play. Happy milestone, guys. JD, thank you. Appreciate y'all already in the chat. Key in the building. Timmy Todd, Travis, JD and the Pirate checking in. Ben Simmons is still a bum. Kevin David, Audia. What's happening, y'all? I'm ready to get rolling tonight. We got college football, NFL football, and funerals to talk about tonight in UFC 279. I'm ready. How y'all feeling? Tell me how you feel.
Good.
Little edgy, little pissed off. Let's go.
Whoa.
Why are you edgy?
You'll find out, you got to be kidding me.
Oh, damn. Is that deep?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we got NCAA. We got to recap what just happened in week one. This was week one. This was everything that we wanted it to be. I feel like college football came back with a bang. First question I'm going to ask you, what was your favorite game? What game stood out to you the most? What game was your favorite to watch, what game did you enjoy the most? Cottrell, start with you, brother.
I was going to say, I probably should go last because I got two that I absolutely loved. So,
oh, bro, start us off.
All right. I got NC State, East Carolina was a banger. Got missed extra points, missed field goals, and then the other one was the Sunday night game in LSU and in Florida State. That game had everything you wanted and then some. You know, you had people who, the play calling where you're pitching the ball on the goal line, and you go all the way downfield, you get your extra point blocked for the game with time running out. It was madness. So those were the two that I absolutely loved, outside of course, Ohio State and Notre Dame.
Okay, Shally.
The NC State East Carolina game was nuts. That's about as crazy an ending as you can get. Talk about choking. I thought the Florida Utah game was great. That went down in the end. Utah had everything it wanted in front of us and threw a pick from like the 2-yard line. And then the North Carolina Appalachian State game was mayhem. That was looked like a 7-on-7 flag football game. That was just up and down the field, not a whole lot of defense. There was big swings in that game. Each team led that game at one point by 13 points. And the other team just kept coming back. It was just nuts. It was a great opening weekend. I thought Michigan looked great on top of everything else on my side there. Thought Ohio State was
already taking shots. Look at them taking shots.
Hey, I said it right after the game, and I actually didn't think it was going to happen. Those were just my rankings. But listen, all the coaches and the people that vote, they saw what I saw. So they were being unbiased. They're not being homers. They saw what I saw. They got bumped down to 3. So right on your heels already. We'll see what happens.
I need you to slow down there. My second question, I will get to that, I promise. So let me get into my favorite game. So first of all, the one thing I wanted to bring up with North Carolina Appalachian State, I think that was the most genius special teams call I've ever seen in my entire life by Appalachian State. They missed a 2-point conversion, and you will not convince me that they did not all fall down and let him score a touchdown to get the ball back. Because
absolutely.
There's no way you're convincing me that they did not. They all fell down. There's no way as adults you're all falling down like that. That was so staged to me.
I think they got blew up.
You just think they all got blew up, and that was just lucky, and then they ended up getting the ball back with another shot to tie the game.
If they sold it, they sold it very well.
Yo, if North Carolina, all they need to do is fall on the ball. Game's over.
I think that's my issue though. Is like essentially, if you do that, you're not even trying to recover the ball at that point. You're like, because if North Carolina recovers and they just fall on it, then the game's over. So
Correct.
I don't know if letting them score, because he could have easily just ran down and then just dove down. So I don't know if that would have been the right mindset to have either.
I don't know, man. It looked like it was genius to me. But my favorite game, of course, is Utah, Florida. I told you guys last week, and I'll say it again. Utah's good. Going to the swamp ain't easy. Florida was just a little better. And yes, Utah had everything. They had the opportunity at the end, but Florida took that game away from them. My next question would be, what team most impressed you? And this is kind of like a Gene question, because it leads into like my agenda, and that's what I'm doing. But I'll start. If it wasn't the Georgia Bulldogs, then who? Georgia was the most impressive team.
For me, it was Georgia. I don't know if I'm more impressed with Georgia or more disappointed in Oregon. That's a 50-50 question for me there. But I mean, I think it has to be Georgia. You know, I think they, you know, Oregon was never in that game, and I mean, listen, there was no championship hangover. There was no, you know, complacency. There was nothing like that. They came out firing, and you know, Stetson Bennett, you know, looked great. Looked like he where he just left off last year and kept on going. Defense looked great. Bo Nix had some terrible throws in that game. Literally threw it right to people. But I mean, they look good. I mean, I don't know how. I don't know how the answer is anything but Georgia.
Georgia, give me an answer. It's not Georgia.
Georgia is the answer. Georgia was definitely the most impressive of the weekend. I told you guys in the group message separately, I was very surprised at how well Stetson Bennett looked. You know, I had said all along last year and even in last week's show that I think he was the Achilles heel of that team. I think they won in spite of Stetson Bennett, not because of him. And he's showing this year that he's one of those quarterbacks that can go win you a game. Like of course, Todd Monken gets a lot of credit as the OC there, but Stetson Bennett is taking care of everything that's being put in front of him. So give him a ton of credit, because that offense was rolling. We know how Georgia's defense is. They got the 5-star kids everywhere, but that offense was rolling. Every time they got the ball, they were moving the ball seamlessly. And so got to give the Bulldogs a lot of credit. The other team who I would say was impressive to me was Florida. I know Florida, you know, I've been giving them love, and I expect them to be in the SEC title game. Well, that was my prediction at least. But, you know, they went against number 7 Utah, and, you know, Billy Napier's first game, he went in and got himself a W over a top 10 team. So that's pretty impressive to me.
Okay, so what team that won was least impressive? Now, it's another agenda question, but I'm going to give you an answer that's not going to be the thing you're going to expect. I get it. Ohio State. We can say Ohio State all we want. NC State's another good one that we can say. A team that Cottrell picked or Bill picked, or you guys thought that we're going to be in the ACC tournament, or sorry, championship game. I don't think it's either one of those teams. I'm going to tell you that college, listen, Vegas isn't in the business of giving away money, but they're giving away money this week. Giving away money this week. You know what was the least impressive to me out of every single team, every single game? And to me, it comes down to one player, a player that I've been very, very high on. Quinn Ewers. Looked awful. Texas, even though they won by 30, were not impressive. Little dump down routes, little check downs. I've been high on Quinn Ewers, but I'm telling you right now, Bama is going to destroy them this week. I feel terrible for the parents of the kids that play for Texas, because they're going to have to watch that embarrassment that's going to happen this Saturday. So for me, my answer is just Quinn Ewers, not even a team.
In Ohio State's defense, I don't think they look good at all, but you know, they were playing another top 5 team. I'm not going to go there. For me, honestly, the answer for me is NC State. I want to go Oregon, but that was just I don't know. If you're an Oregon fan, I know Alex Elmore listens. If that doesn't get better super quick, I mean, you can kiss all of the Pac-12 aspirations goodbye this year because it's not going to happen. I don't think you saw it. That was reflected in the polls as well. They're not ranked this week. They went from 11th to out. That team needs to get better real fast. But for me, it's going to be NC State because, quite honestly, I am high on them. I know Cottrell is as well. They have no business being 1-0, honestly. They should have lost that game. East Carolina had two separate chances to win that game. And if they make, worst case, if they make the extra point, they're going to overtime. And the kid, another very makeable field goal at the end, and he missed that as well. So I think that was a wake-up call for them. I think they got a lot of love in the preseason, and deservedly so. They have a great bunch of kids, but that was hopefully the wake-up call they needed. They got to go out and prove it on the field every single week. So for me, it's NC State.
For me, I go Oregon. I think NC State can easily be that answer.
Guys, y'all listen to the question. Both of y'all said a team that won that did not look impressive.
Oh, a team that won that didn't look impressive. Gotcha.
Correct.
NC State. I mean, NC State would be that answer for sure. Then, I mean, there was other teams that won that didn't look great. I don't want to throw shade, Gene, but Penn State would be one, and it's not because their defense looked great, but I would say that's more so. It's more so because
don't bring up Penn State when your team laid an egg. I don't want to hear that.
An egg. What are you talking about?
Y'all look terrible, bro. Terrible
offensively with our receiver 1 and receiver 3 out. What are you talking about?
That team's going to the national championship. You're sending me tweets of CJ Stroud throwing a simple out route, being like, "This is why he's a pro caliber quarterback." Get out of here,
simple
man.
Out route with the receiver drape on him. Okay, you understand what the route is. There wasn't a corner right on him. Get out of here.
No, bro. He had seen the mask too. He didn't throw it until the face mask turned around. By the way, what's happening, Coach Dante? Appreciate you.
Shut out. You shut out a top. Now they're top 8. You shut out a top 8 team in the second half. You can't be the least impressive. Right, and I was only saying Penn State because they put Drew Aller back on the bench. If he was playing the whole game, they would have got an A+ grade for me.
You can't say anything about missing your top 1 and 3 receivers and say that contributed when they're starting. That's the kid's first start for Notre Dame at Ohio State, and he's missing his top 3 receivers. So paint the whole picture there. All in all, dude, what are you talking about? Notre Dame's top 3 receivers going into camp this year, not playing that game.
Their best tight end played, and I don't care if that was his first game. Are they still a top 8 team?
They're not, and they're not going to be there by the end of the year because they're going to lose 2 or 3 more games.
See, you can't honest. It was a no-win situation.
That's not
true. You beat Notre Dame. You don't get the credit. You lose Notre Dame, then you guys were definitely overrated. So
you can't listen. I'm not going to bash them because it's opening week, and I know Jigba got hurt very early and went out. At the end of the day, though, dude, you can't say they look great. You can't. There was nothing great about that performance.
I didn't say that. I didn't say the team looked great. Okay. Defense looked great.
So the offense gets an excuse because you're missing 2 weapons, but their defense gets a break when Notre Dame's missing their top 3 wide receivers. Like,
I'm
you
sorry,
can't have it
bro.
both ways.
I don't want to hear that I'm missing my number 1 and number 3 receiver when my number 4 receiver is Marvin Harrison Jr.
Yeah.
Like, come on, bro. I don't want to hear that.
That was his second start ever.
I don't care.
You just said it doesn't matter. You have 5. Doesn't matter.
You have 5 4 and 5-star wide receivers on your roster. I don't want to hear it, bro. I don't want to hear it.
You see that's not always a seamless transition. You saw Bryce Young struggle in the championship game going up against Georgia when he had his guys out. You saw him struggle.
Defense we've ever watched.
You also saw him struggle in the SEC, not SEC championship game, but the game that Mechie originally got hurt and they only scored 2 touchdowns and they went to. It was late in the game for Bryce Young to lead them down the field
about the Iron Ball.
Get them to win.
We're talking about the Iron Ball versus Auburn. Yep.
So it's tough when you lose those guys unexpectedly and you're not game planning for it.
I'm fine with that, but I'm saying
I want to hate on Ohio State.
I don't. I mean, listen, they're good.
I do.
They're. I mean, that's going to be an anomaly for the year. All I'm saying is, if that's an excuse for Ohio State, then don't tell me Notre Dame missed the 3 guys, and a quarterback starting his first game ever in the horseshoe. That doesn't factor in either. That
my thing is though, it's not an excuse though. I'm just saying we got out of there with a win. The rest of our schedule is pretty much a cakewalk till we get to the back half of it, and those tough games are at home. So I'm good with how the performance was. First game of the year, everything considered. That's all.
I don't know. I feel like Penn State and Happy Valley is going to be a little closer game than I expected it to be.
If Sean Clifford's at quarterback, I am not worried about a thing.
Sean Clifford will get hurt. Don't worry about it. He dives all over the place. He's out of games all the time. Don't worry about it. All right, let's talk about this week, guys. Let's talk about this week. We got to preview some games. I want to start with Kentucky, Florida, and I'll start with this, but I won't give my pick. It's tough for me because, like, in my head, I really I want to just give my pick. I don't want to hide this. Letdown games are real. Florida is playing a game after beating Utah versus a very good Kentucky team. I love Kentucky in this spot, and I think that Florida should be on upset alert right now, today.
I don't really necessarily disagree with you. I think them being at home again and possibly having 2-0 sitting in front of them is a big deal. I think at some point Anthony Richards is going to have to throw the ball, though. As great as he looked, it was a very Tim Tebow-esque performance. He had 3 touchdowns rushing, did not throw for 1 passing. He's going to have to be able to throw the ball eventually, and he still looked a little shaky Saturday. I'm sure Billy Napier is going to game plan around that again, and probably try to get him some throws early, get him in a rhythm, get him comfortable. That screams. I think that's another nail biter. I think it's going to be another nail biter that's going to go down to last possession again. Kentucky is a run-first team. They love time of possession. They love chewing up the clock, taking the air out of the ball, will you? Some people like to call it that. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game. And I think it's going to be a very good game. It's tough. It's tough. That is, I know we're going to pick it here, but that is going to be a very, very good football game. Has a chance to be the best game of the weekend.
Control?
I'm picking this game.
I mean, let's just pick it now, bro. I'll pick it now. I don't want to preview a game and not pick it. My pick is Kentucky. I think they're going to win the game by a field goal. Kentucky outright over Florida.
That's one of your picks for pick'em?
Yes, I got them plus 5.5. I'm not taking them on the money line, but I'm taking plus the 5.5. I think it's a 3-point game, one way or the other.
I am 100% on the other side. I got Florida. Give me the points. I think they're gonna shut down Kentucky. Oh yeah, they're going to cover. They're going to cover the 5.5. They cover it easy. I think that's a situation where Florida, them being at home, I think they do start off a little slow because of that letdown. But I think that with them being at home, feeding off that energy from the crowd, and I don't think Kentucky's that good to begin with. So I think Kentucky's a little overrated. And so all those mixed together, I think Florida is going to have a pretty easy time dealing with the Kentucky Wildcats.
I think it's a low-scoring game. I am not picking this as part of my official pick'em, but I'm going with Gene on this one. I think Kentucky grinds it out. I like Kentucky 23-21, something like that. And I agree with Gene, across the board. I think it's a field goal game either way. So if I was going to pick it, I would definitely take Kentucky in the points. I do think there's a chance Florida wins the game. But everything factored in, I will take Kentucky to eke one out.
Okay, perfect.
Got more confidence in Will Levis than I do. That's all.
That's fair. Next game we're going to talk about, which I think is going to be an absolute rout. We got to talk about it. It's fine. But Alabama at Texas, it's another game I'm picking, and I'm fine with putting my picks out now. Alabama by 40. Dude, this is free money. Alabama minus 20.5 is free money. I'm as confident in this game as I was in the Dallas Cowboys over the Atlanta Falcons last year. Remember the 10-star play? I am that confident in this game. Can I put like 3 picks? I don't have to give my whole pick 'em, right? Like, you guys pick one unit each game. I'll put all three of them on Bama minus 20.5. Bama wins this game by 40. You're not going to have to worry about that spread at halftime. Bama will cover that spread by the half.
I will. I mean, I think Alabama's definitely going to win the game. I think they're going to win the game by a lot too. You go back to, I think Saban until Kirby Smart beat him, he was undefeated against his former assistants. I don't think Sark has a shot in hell in winning this game. Quinn Ewers did not look overly impressive. Again, his first start, it's going to be a lot of simplifying the playbook, not trying to get himself into too much trouble. But listen, that's not going to be an option come Saturday. We joked about this a couple weeks ago when we were joking about Will Anderson Jr. Quinn Ewers is going to meet him Saturday. Probably going to meet him a couple times, and it's probably not going to be pretty. I don't know what would have to happen for Texas to win this game. I do think it's going to be a great game to watch because I think the atmosphere in Austin is going to be great for them with Alabama coming to town. I think it's going to be fun. I just don't think it's going to be much of a ball game. Nick Saban loves to hammer his former assistants, kind of like the whole like FU like type thing. That's how he is. I think Alabama rolls.
By the way, victory in the comments. AR-15 will play lights out. Kentucky is good, but not good enough. Florida's defense is too tough. He's got Kentucky. He's got Florida. And then he also said Sean Clifford got to go. Man, you're preaching to the choir. I am the biggest Sean Clifford hater of all time. And if there's one person on Penn State I hate more than Sean Clifford, it's that dog shit coach they give a 10-year extension to. That you guys gave me a friggin' sweater of that's sitting in my fire pit.
I forgot about that.
I gave y'all nice sweaters that y'all could wear. Nice sweaters that y'all could wear, ugly Christmas sweaters. And you gave me that garbage? I can't even wear that to an ugly Christmas party. I can't do it.
That's a hit. Especially around those parts.
It's a great conversation piece.
I hate that, man. By the way, thank you, Jordan Schechter, for the shout out on Show 100. Jordan's been a listener forever. I appreciate you, brother. Thank you.
I'm going with Bama here. No surprise to anybody. I actually do think though that this game, I think Texas was holding back a little bit. They know they couldn't put too much out on film. They know how Saban is. Sark being there with Will Saban for how long that they were together. I do think that they were trying to hold back, specific schemes just because they didn't want it on film already. Granted, and plus it was Quinn Ewers' first game in a Texas uniform and his first game starting a college football game. So I think that was a fine blend of the mess that we saw last Saturday. But I do think that I think that Texas looks better than what they did last week. But Bama's going to roll here, man. They're not ready for a beast like Bama, and it's just I think the first half is somewhat close. Maybe you go into halftime 28-13, something like that. Second half, I think Bama rolls though.
I agree with Gene on this one as well. I think halftime. I think that it's we know what's happening. I think Texas their first drive is going to be very, very important because that's when you can catch Bama with the trick plays and trying to get them out of character. Once they settle in, though, that's when it's going to get tough. And I think 28-13 at half, and I think that final ends up being 49-20, 56-20. I think it gets bad, but
I said by 40. I said by 40. You said 56-20. That's 36. We're not that far off. I think it's going to be 20. I think it might be 28-0 at halftime.
I'm gonna give Sark some credit. I think he's gonna scheme up some stuff to get behind the Bama defense, and it may be a trick play just based off of I know Saban's gonna run this when this thing happens, so this is gonna be open. I give him one or two of those plays, but I think Bama rolls. I think them covering 20.5 the whole game. I think that you said it. I think that's easy money.
It's free money. It's free money. We got to get in the Vols versus the Pitt Panthers. You want to talk about an impressive team? We didn't talk about Tennessee. Tennessee looked incredible. That offense looked special. Cottrell, why don't you, since you're last one, start this up on You
know I got the Vols in this one. Pitt looked looked good. We didn't talk about them, but they were in one of the best games of college football, and they were the ones that really kicked off the week in the backyard brawl against West Virginia. But in this one, I think Tennessee is just going to be too much. What'd you say?
I don't think Pitt looked good.
I mean, the game itself was good. They were in one of the better games.
It was a mess. It was a close game, but I mean,
No,
you're
that was
talking
a
about
good game.
a battle of 2 transfer quarterbacks, JT Daniels versus Keaton Sloan. Slovis. I call it Sloan. You got I think both of them looked bad to start that game. It was 10-3 at the halftime. I had the under in that game, and in the second half, it just was
Fireworks.
Nobody could stop anybody.
It's a good game.
Nobody could stop anybody.
It was a fun game.
It was fun.
It was fun.
The rivalry's back.
Fun game. I agree with fun. Fun is the
good.
right word.
I'll tell you this though.
Yeah,
I mean that's kind of what makes college football a little bit different. I mean, you can have those games and not necessarily have to rely on quality. I'll tell you this though. Pittsburgh's offense looked a lot better than I thought it was going to. After losing everything they did to go out and put up that many points. Obviously, again, West Virginia is not known for defense, and they rarely play it. But that many points opening game of the season, I was impressed. And again, to Cottrell's point, to kick off the season with a game like that, I mean that's what you want, man. It was great. Rivalry game, down to the last play. I mean that kid was inches away from catching that ball, and West Virginia going down to the half-yard line with 20 seconds to go. So that was fun. It's fun.
I'll take Pitt. I'll take Tennessee in this game. I think Hayden Hooker's I think that Tennessee offense is special this year. I think he'll be a Heisman finalist. I said this to Dante when he had showed me his list a couple weeks ago. I love him. I think he'll be a Heisman finalist. I think he's going to be good all year. That Tennessee offense is going to be very good. And although it was Ball State, the defense didn't look bad either. Now it's Ball State, but
I mean, I think
9-10 is.
You're going to get a little bit of a better read on what their defense is this year. We first started talking about 2 weeks ago when we did the SEC preview show. Tennessee was one of the teams that was tough for me to evaluate because I knew what their offense was going to be. This is what we expected, and we got every bit of it this past week. After watching Pittsburgh play defense, I don't have any kind of confidence that Pittsburgh is going to slow them down this week either. But to Gene's point, I need to see what Tennessee's defense is going to look like against an actual offense. So I think it's a good game. I'll take Tennessee as well. I don't think Tennessee covers. I think they win by like 4 or 5, though. I don't think they cover the touchdown.
It's fair.
I think Tennessee wins. I think they cover it. I don't think this game's ever in doubt. Like I think Pitt's going to be consistently chasing the one possession game. They'll be up 14. Pitt scores or down 7. Tennessee will go back down. They score again. I think Tennessee. I don't think Tennessee's ever in trouble. I do think Tennessee is for real, and until they have to go up against the big boys in the SEC, they're going to be a tough out for everybody.
Why? Let's get into pick 'em. I'm ready.
Who's going?
Who was first last week?
Oh, me and technically percentage-wise, I was, but me and Bill both have 1 win. I went 1-1. Bill went 1-2.
So you pick the order then, Control.
Let's go the order on screen. Bill, Gene, and then me.
Yeah, Bill, start us off with your pick 'em.
I went last week. I thought it was 2-1. Anyway, first game I'm going to pick USC on the road at Stanford -7.5. I don't think Stanford comes anywhere close to covering this. USC looked a little bit better than I thought they were going to offensively. They clicked more. Again, Jordan Addison, Caleb Williams, they're going to be tough to stop all year. Still huge questions about their defense. They had 3 pick sixes, which kind of really, I don't want to say let them off the hook, but they were giving up big yardage plays all game. They gave up, I think, 3 or 4 drives in a row of over 60 yards to give up points. I just don't think Stanford has the firepower to, kind of like Cottrell's point with the last game. I think Stanford's constantly chasing that game. So USC -7.5. I'll take USC. Iowa State +3.5 at Iowa. How Iowa's favored in this game, I have no freaking idea. I know it's at home. They didn't score a touchdown last week. won a game on field goal and safeties. Craziest thing I've ever seen.
South Dakota State.
Yep. I'll take Iowa State and the 3.5. I'll lay it. Rivalry game, Matt Campbell have them ready. They looked okay opening week. Scored 49, I believe. I think they'll put points on the board. I have no idea what Iowa's going to do. Literally, just I don't have any faith in them scoring more than 13, 17 points a game in any game they play this year.
Well,
So
last year Iowa beat the dog shit out of Iowa State, and I'm gonna give you a weird stat for Iowa. Don't ask me why I have this. In the last 7 games that Iowa has punted the ball 8 times or more, they're 6-1.
Yeah,
it's a wild stat. They want to punt the football. They want to punt the football.
Yeah, they play field position defense. Yeah. My last game, I'm going to take Notre Dame minus 20.5 at home against Marshall. If there was one bright spot for Notre Dame in that game, it was their defense. I think their defense played great. They're going to have one of the better defenses in the country this year. And I was, again, even missing the weapons with everything they have going on, I think they'll be able to run the ball a little bit easier against Marshall. They'll get Michael Mayer more involved, Baby Gronk, and I think they cover that at home. Home opener. They need to get a win badly for Freeman. So I will take Notre Dame to demolish Marshall at home.
Okay. I guess it's up to me. You know 2 of my picks already. I got Kentucky plus the 5.5 over Florida. I think that's a true letdown game for Florida after coming off that huge win versus Utah. I have Alabama minus 20.5. Get that shit in now. Doesn't matter if you get it in now. Bet the first half. Bet the entire game. Bama by 1,000,000. Bama by 40. I got Bama. I think Kentucky wins straight up too, Petey. Thank you. Here's another one, right? Vandy, you guys want to know a sneaky team that's 2-0 in the SEC? How about Vanderbilt? They're 2-0. Guess what? They're playing a real team this week. Wake Forest minus 12.5 over Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt stinks. They always will stink. Their football program stinks. They can't play football, and this ain't Hawaii. So I got I got Wake Forest minus 12.5 over Vandy. And for the super dog, I got New Mexico plus 16.5 over Boise State. Boise's not that good. New Mexico's better than you think. I'll take the 16.5. Don't be surprised New Mexico wins the football game. I'll take all 17 points of that.
I like that super dog pick, Gene. But it's funny because not a lot of them, but we're kind of on the same page. I got a pick from both of you guys. I like USC minus 7.5 at Stanford. I think honestly, I feel like that's a gimme. I don't think Stanford is. I know they got the quarterback situation. They got a good quarterback in Stanford, but I don't think Stanford has the team to hang with that USC high-powered offense. I really think that USC is going to score 40, maybe 50 points in that game, and I don't think that Stanford gets close to that. So I think the 7.5 is going to be pretty easy. I love Wake Forest minus 12.5 at Vanderbilt. Vanderbilt, like you said, Gene, they haven't played anybody yet all season. When I saw that spread, I was like, there is no way this is real. Wake Forest is returning their quarterback and their best receiver from last year. Wake Forest they're going to roll Vanderbilt in Vandy. I don't care, 12.5, 16. If you get it at game time, doesn't matter. That's going to be a 30-point game. I think that's going to be pretty easy. And then you guys already know my other one, Florida at home versus Kentucky. I'll take the 5.5. I think Florida will be just fine in that game. And I think Kentucky's a little overrated, and you're going to see that when they got to travel to the swamp. So, and then my super dog, last super dog I got Charlotte plus 26.5 at home versus Maryland. I think Maryland showed you last week that they're really not that good. Yes, Talia, Tua's little brother, is still there at quarterback, but he didn't play that well last week against Buffalo. So I think Charlotte being at home in a situation where they got 26.5 points to play with, I think they should be able to cover that. Not saying they win the game, but I think they can cover that 26.5 at home.
Bill, did you give a super dog?
No, I was waiting for Kashal to finish. I'm actually going from the team that played a crazy game last week. I'm going App State plus 18.5 at A&M. A&M really struggled in the first half of their game to get their offense going. Obviously, I think they're going to be able to score against Texas A&M. I think App State scores enough to stay in that game. Never in any kind of threat of winning it, but I think that I think they can keep it within almost 3 touchdowns. So I'll take App State plus 18.5.
That's wild, man. That's wild.
It is.
I don't like that. I don't like that.
If it was more, I'm cool with it. 18 and a half.
I-
That's a little touchy.
I feel like the odds makers might know that though. Maybe A&M didn't have the most impressive game. Appalachian State had a very impressive offensive performance. But like I look at that game and I just see A&M by 40. Like I don't know. Maybe
A&M's not throwing the ball anywhere near well enough to beat anybody by 40 right now.
I just think they'll bully App State. App State couldn't stop anything. They couldn't stop me, you, and Cottrell.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's only 18.5 for a reason.
You're absolutely right. And when I feel that strongly against you, especially in college football, I'm wrong. Not in the NFL, but in college football, I gotta bow to you guys. You guys kicked my ass last year, and I started off really light. I was 0-3 in my picks, and my super dog covered by 1 point. So does that mean I'm 1-3? Is that how that works? I don't know how it works.
You be. So it's the way it technically works is whatever you get for your super dogs, you get bonus points for that. So you would if you were 0-3 in your normal picks, but your super dog covered by 1. Is that what you said?
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, so you'd be 1-3.
Oh, yuck. That's an ugly start in college football. I promise you, though. I will not start that way in the NFL. The NFL genius is ready.
Can we do UFC
NFL,
first
baby.
just to get it out of the way?
What?
Can we do UFC first just to get it out of the way?
No. NFL. We've been waiting for NFL preview.
I know.
I've been dying for NFL preview.
UFC's gonna take 4 minutes. Get it out of the way, and then the rest of the show is NFL.
NFL. Let's move on. Guys, we're gonna preview some NFL action. I think that we should preview our games first, and then we should get into our pick 'em, and then we'll give our order of our top 7 from each side, and then our Super Bowl prediction. So NFL preview of the games first. There's 6 games on the docket. 6 games on the docket. So we're going to start with the Thursday night game. Thursday night game is 100% where, Buffalo Bills favored to go into the Los Angeles Rams Super Bowl champions, who are better, I might add, adding Bobby Wagner, Allen Robinson on opening night. Okay. You guys, you can tell me what you want to see. I feel very strong about this game, and it is one of my picks. NFL Genius is all over the Los Angeles Rams plus 2.5. Give me the Rams. They're dogs in this game. I'll take the 2.5 points just in case. But I think the Rams win the game by 10 points. I think the Rams win this football game. Josh Allen notoriously starts slow in September. The Rams, what the Rams do well, the Buffalo Bills do not. I got the Rams all day in this game. I don't even know why. I think it's disrespectful. And here's another little tidbit. 89% of the money is on the Buffalo Bills. They're everybody's sweetheart. I love Buffalo this year, but I do not love Buffalo tomorrow night. Give me the Rams.
I love Buffalo as well this year. I like them a lot. I think they make the AFC Championship game, but I don't like them tomorrow night either. I agree with Gene. I like the Rams. Only thing that gives me cause for concern, I do believe they're getting the Super Bowl rings. That always throws a wrench into some things. Sometimes people get a little lose sight of the game a little bit. But to Gene's point, Josh Allen's not notoriously a guy hide out of the gate. People are down on the Rams, and I don't understand why. I mean, okay, yeah, you lost WJ, but you added Allen Robinson, you added Bobby Wagner to an already good defense, and they're home. I got the Rams winning 31-27. I think this is another game where Buffalo just falls a little bit short. I think Josh Allen will play amazing. I think Josh Allen will have a great game. He won't be the reason they lose. But when it comes down to getting a stop, in a crunch time, I slightly leave the Rams at home to get a stop when they need to. So I will go Rams 31-27.
Bill, I liked what you said about them. The Rams are going to be receiving their rings. I do think that's something they're going to keep. I think they're going to start off slow based off that alone. The emotions of that, you got a whole bunch going on there. Second thing is, I've heard pretty much the past couple weeks now, Matt Stafford's elbow, it's not 100% healthy. He's been having issues with it. Sean McVay said if I need him to throw 50 times, I'm comfortable asking him to do that. I don't know how much of that I believe. I don't know how much of that is just he's just giving the confidence in Matt, but that's something that concerns me. Another thing, lose your OC. I know McVay is the one calling plays, and it's his offense that they're running. Curious to see what they look like the first game without that OC. So all those reasons, I think the Bills are pissed about how their season ended last year. I think they got to come. They're going to try to come out and make a statement. I like the Bills. I like the Bills to win this game. And if they win the game, I'm not saying they cover that 2.5. I think maybe it's dicey and they win off a walk-off field goal, but I do think the Bills win the game.
Okay. On to the next one. Next game on the docket, Philadelphia Eagles. Philadelphia Eagles play the Detroit Lions in Detroit. It's a very dicey game for Philadelphia. And I'll tell you this right now. Eagles fans, prepare for what you're about to hear. I hate saying this. I would love the Eagles to win this football game. I would love the Eagles to go into Detroit and win this football game. I got the Lions 24, the Eagles 21 in a walk-off field goal, and I think the Lions win the football game over Philadelphia week 1. I think Dan Campbell's got the team more prepared. I think that they've been tackling, they've been hitting in practice. The Eagles constantly start the season slow. They were 2-5 last year because of weak training camps. I get it, the week 1 versus Atlanta, where we can point to that. Detroit's different this year, man. They're different. They're deep in a lot of positions. Their defense has a new identity. They have 9 former players on that coaching staff. Deuce Staley, a little bit of a revenge game. I got the Lions 24-21 over the Birds.
So I think the biggest thing, Gene already hit on it. This is not your mom's or not your grandmom's Detroit Lions. This team's going to be competitive this year. To Gene's point as well, if you watch Hard Knocks or whatever, or, if you watch it or follow it, that team loves their coach. That team has bought in on their coach, and not only Dan Campbell. You see Aaron Glenn coaching the defense, and Deuce Staley being the OC and the running back coach. These guys have been intense all training camp. Detroit is going to win some games this year that people don't think they're going to win. They're going to play tough. They're going to be better than they were last year. This is a big year for Jared Goff too. It's the end of his contract. It's going to be a big decision. How he plays this year is really going to dictate, what Detroit does and, what goes on forward with him, either staying there, re-signing or moving to another team. I think this is a very tough game. What leaves me a little bit of hope is I heard a stat today that the Eagles have won 9 of their last 11 openers. That's the best in the league. And that's over a couple different coaches. So, to some point, you have to give some credit to the players that have been there over that period of time and not so much the coaches. I've gone back and forth on this. I really have. I originally agreed with Gene, but I changed my mind earlier today the more I thought about this game. I think the Eagles win. I think it's a squeaker. The thing that really sells it for me is I like how we're going to line up against them defensively. I like our defensive matchups against that team. I'm going to Eagles 23, Lions 21 in a game that is going to drive a lot of people freaking crazy to open the weekend, open the season and struggle with Detroit. But you can't look at it that way because, like I said, this isn't the Detroit Lions from 4 years ago, which were the doormat of the NFL. That's going to be a decent football team this year. So at the end of the year, when it's all said and done, you're going to look back and see we beat them in week 1, hopefully. And it's going to be a pretty decent win. So I'll go Eagles in a nail biter.
I would love to be wrong, Bill. I would love to. I'm going to sit here on the couch. It's not one of my official picks because I don't feel that strongly about it. I've been back and forth on it myself. But I'm going to sit here on my couch I'm gonna root like hell for the Philadelphia Eagles. I think as you'll see later, I think the Eagles rebound very nicely. But and you'll see that when we get into our playoff predictions. But little foreshadowing for you. But this opening week, I am very, very, very nervous. Beware of those Lions, brother. Beware of those Lions.
I almost went full reverse psychology pick with you as well. Just pick the Lions, expecting them to win, just be like deep down thinking the Eagles are going to win and hoping it works. But I'm just going with the Eagles.
Cottrell?
I got the Eagles in this one. I'm not too worried about it. I know it's not my team, but I'm pretty confident in them. I think that, yes, the Lions are going to be better. I think the Lions may win 7, maybe 8 games this year. I think they're going to be drastically better than what they were last year. But I think the Eagles are going to be drastically better. Gene, you talked about, you foreshadowed, you expect them to rebound pretty well this year. I 100% agree. But I don't think this is a game where the Lions are going to be, scratching and fighting to win this game. I think the Eagles win it. I don't think this necessarily close. I mean, score-wise, it may end up one possession, but I think this is a situation where Jalen Hurts is going to have those guys going. You got new additions with A.J. Brown on defensively. You got Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. I think those are 2 huge pieces and are going to be key contributors for you game one. I know CGJ just got there, but I think he's a guy that plugs and play, especially he's going to be up at safety. You guys always talk about how bad the safety play is. So I think he's going to come in and be an instant impact for you. So I like the Eagles to win this one 31-20. I don't think it's a situation where the Eagles are ever really in trouble.
I think me and Gino agree that if that's the case, we'll be happy to agree with you.
I will be ecstatic if that's the case. I want that to be the case.
So do I.
I think the Eagles defense is going to rebound very nicely. Is Miles Sanders going to play? Do the Eagles have a running game? Jason Kelce hasn't practiced in weeks. He's coming off an injury. I think it's a very dicey game for the Eagles.
They both
practice when we get into
I think everything you said right there, the Eagles are one of the only teams in the league that doesn't matter for. If Miles Sanders doesn't play, you guys have a RB by committee. You have a quarterback that can run the ball as well, like to open up stuff for whoever is back there in the backfield. Jason Kelce doesn't play, of course, is a big blow. His leadership on the line and his play. I mean, he's still all pro caliber center, but you guys have one of the best offensive line coaches, if not the best offensive line coach in the NFL. He'll have whoever, Cam Jurgens, he'll be ready to go in there and play, So I think the Eagles are in good shape, even with those issues that you just said.
PD just put it up there, but I saw the report earlier. Right,
I know Kelsey's playing. I'm saying he hasn't really practiced. He hasn't been involved in anything.
Well, I mean, to Cottrell's point, I mean, it's not like Kelce doesn't know the offense or what he's going to do when he's going there. And Miles Sanders practiced at full today, so he's on schedule to start. So, on paper, our best lineup should be on the field come Sunday. So,
and if not, you got Trey Sermon.
Oh Jesus! All right, let's get into the revenge game. Baker Mayfield and the Panthers are going against Jacoby Brissett and the Browns. I think Jacoby. I'm kidding.
It's not Mr. Move My Towel. It's not him.
Oh Jesus! No means no, Deshaun. So I actually feel pretty strongly about this game too.
So do I.
Why don't you start, Shally?
I'm going Carolina. I think we've seen it in the past with when Baker was a Cleveland Brown. The most dangerous Baker Mayfield there is a motivated Baker Mayfield with a chip on his shoulder. Last time we went, we saw it in the pros. We saw it in college. Cottrell remembers when he stuck the flag in the middle of Buckeye Field, in the middle of the horseshoe. He remembers that night. There is nothing more on earth that Baker Mayfield wants to do than win this game on Sunday. I think you get a big dose of C-Mac. I think Baker actually has a decent game. I think Carolina finds a way to squeak one out for him. I really do. I don't necessarily think it is a sign of things to come for either team. I think emotions will be high. I'm just going to side with Baker. I think he's healthy. I think he's got a shit ton to prove this year. He feels horribly disrespected with the way Cleveland did him dirty. I think he's out for blood, and I think he's going to do everything he can to get it. I will take Carolina 23, Cleveland Browns 20.
Kitra, I'll let you go second. I have a very strong feeling on this.
I got a strong feeling too. You're a person that told me your logic when you're favored by 2.5 points tells you everything, and you're the home team, tells you everything you need to know. And this is a situation where Carolina Panthers are favored. It's down to 1.5 now, but it opened up at 2.5 and it stayed that way until some money got to it. This is a situation where I think the Browns are going to handle the Carolina Panthers, and I'm confident in it. I'm not confident to say by how much, but I'm confident in them getting the win. I think if anybody knows how to contain Baker Mayfield, it's going to be that Browns defense. I mean, they got to see him every day in practice. And you could talk about his revenge games all you want to against his former teams and things like that. The game against Ohio State, that wasn't personal. That was just a great performance. You could talk about his, rivalry games or revenge games. Oklahoma against Texas Tech. Texas Tech is never anything. That doesn't mean anything to me. These are NFL defenses out there. This will be a really good Browns defense on pay, especially week 1, because everybody's going to be healthy. I think that they're going to be getting after Baker Mayfield. And if you don't think this game is personal to Kevin Stefanski and those offensive guys, I'm telling you right now that's absolutely the case. So many guys in that locker room sided with Odell Beckham in that whole squabble. No matter how you look at that, I just think it was a disaster to begin with. But I think that's going to be a personal game for everybody in that locker room. That was their last season, and I think they're going to go out there and get a win.
All right, so I feel very strongly about this game. Very strongly about this game. So strongly that I might add it as my 4th pick. I have 3 picks, but this might be my 4th. We can't count it because we're doing 3 a week, but if it was, it would be my 4th pick. Baker Mayfield has something to prove versus the Cleveland Browns, but the Cleveland Browns have something to prove against Baker Mayfield. And there's a lot more Cleveland Browns that have something to prove against Baker Mayfield than there are Baker Mayfields that have something to prove against the Cleveland Browns. I'm going to take it a step further. Carolina Panthers last year ranked 27th against the run. Cleveland Browns have the number 3 run offensive line in the NFL. I think you're going to get a lot of doses of Nick Chubb. I think you're going to get a lot of Kareem Hunt. I think Jacoby Brissett's told to not turn the ball over. And I think what happens this game is that Cleveland defense turns the ball over off Baker Mayfield 3 times. Not once, not twice. 3 different times. 2 picks and a fumble. And I think the Browns go into Carolina and roll 27-13 Browns. I'm going to take it a step further. Cottrell mentioned the line, and he kind of foreshadowed it a little bit for me. This game opened as Carolina -2.5. Currently, it's shifted between the Cleveland Browns -1 and the Cleveland Browns +1. 89% of the bets are on the Carolina Panthers. That, ladies and gentlemen, is called reverse line movement, where all the money's on one side, but the spread is moving the other way. Everything tells me Browns and a whitewash. All righty. The next one on the docket. We got 2 more. Oh, we got 3 more. Chiefs at Cardinals. You got Patrick Mahomes going into Kyler Murray City, going to Cliff Kingsbury University. First time since college that Kyler Murray and Patrick Mahomes, that Cliff Kingsbury and Patrick Mahomes been on the same field. Patrick Mahomes going against his former college coach, basically got him that job in the NFL. Patrick Mahomes versus the Cardinals. Everything in my body tells me that the Chiefs should roll in this game. I think the Chiefs win the football game. I just think it's a lot closer than what my mind tells me. I think that when a quarterback has to prove to you, I think Patrick Mahomes will be on a mission this year. And I think his mission is proving I did not need Tyreek Hill. I think people are already, 2 years ago, like going into last year, 2 years ago, before the debacle versus the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Patrick Mahomes, greatest player of all time. Now, it's like, is he the best quarterback in his division? Let alone conference. I like the Chiefs in this one. I just don't know by how many, and I don't feel strong enough to make it on one of my dockets. Give me the Kansas City Chiefs.
I'll say I like the one. I like PD makes a good point. I do know that Andy Reid doesn't really lose the home openers. I think Kansas City in this game, losing Tyreek Hill, losing Tyrann Mathieu on defense, I think it's going to be an adjustment period for them. And it's a situation where, these guys really haven't played together. He doesn't have that chemistry yet with Juju and Marquez Valdez-Scantling. I'm taking Arizona here. Although they don't have Nuke and they just got Hollywood Brown, I like Arizona. I think Arizona is going to be able to put up points against that Chiefs defense that typically struggles at the beginning of the season. And without the Honey Badger, I expect them to struggle in Arizona. So I like Arizona. I think Pat keeps it close, but in the end, it's going to be too much Kyler and Cliff.
I'm going to go against Cottrell and agree with Gene. Way too much agreeing with Gene going on tonight. Gene hit all the big points for me, though, and Petey hit the other one that I was going to talk about. Andy Reid doesn't lose season openers a lot. I like that, and I'll tell you what, besides the all the noise Patrick Mahomes has heard all season about how he's going to be hurt by losing Tyreek Hill and not the other way around, and that seems to kind of be the media, the media slant that everybody took with it. I think the Chiefs in general are tired of hearing how they're not the darlings of the AFC anymore, how it's going to be Josh Allen this year or Justin Herbert's going to win the division. They're not going to win the division this year. That's what they've been dealing with all offseason. I got the Chiefs 33, Arizona 26. I got Kyler Murray throwing a horrible late game interception to seal it for Kansas City. I think it's a great game. And again, to Gene's other point, I think Patrick Mahomes has to go out there and hand it to Cliff Kingsbury. Not that there's any animosity there, but you always want to beat the guy that you're going against, in that type of situation. So I think Mahomes really shows up with, again, a little bit of a chip on his shoulder, for all he's done and all he's proven to kind of be getting the flack that he's gotten this offseason that Tyreek Hill kind of made him, for lack of a better terms. I don't think that's going to sit well with him. I think Kelsey has a huge game. I think CEH has a big game. I think he has a big year in general, but I think he starts off on the right foot this year. So I'll take Kansas City 33, Arizona 26.
I'll tell you something to add on to that. Kansas City sneakily has one of the best offensive lines of football. Coming from everything that happened 2 years ago in that Super Bowl, they probably have the fourth or fifth best offensive line in football right now. So
they got a problem on their hands, though, at left tackle. Orlando Brown doesn't want to take the contract that they're offering him for whatever reason.
Okay. I still think their offensive line is going to be very good this year.
Oh, I agree. 100%.
All right. Another revenge game. Week 18 last year. Week 18. It sounds weird saying it. The Raiders at the Chargers. The Raiders have more firepower. The Chargers have more firepower. Both these teams got significantly better in the offseason. J.C. Jackson lining up against Devontae Adams.
He's not playing.
Oh, he's not playing?
Nope.
Okay. Khalil Mack, Joey Bosa, Chargers getting at that weak Raiders offensive line. I still have the Chargers win this game. I have the Chargers win this game ever so slightly by 6 points. I got a 36-30 Chargers.
I'm going a little bit more than that. I think the Chargers win comfy. I think the Chargers win 37, Raiders 27. Again, Gene touched on both of it. Both rosters are improved dramatically since last year. Big names added, Devontae Adams. We talked about the Chargers, Khalil Mack, J.C. Jackson. Even though he's not going to play, but it's again a little bit foreshadowing. But I think Chargers at home. I think they handle business. I think Justin Herbert starts the old hype train for MVP and whatever else he's going to win this year. I think he has a great game. Again, Gene even said to a little bit of a revenge game. We talked about that game last week, man. I mean, every time we thought they were done, Justin Herbert threw some crazy 20-yard dart to somebody. Just a wild game. But I think he starts off the season on the right foot. I think the Chargers go to 1-0. Like I said, I'll go 37-27 Chargers.
I just want to bring this point up because I looked at it earlier, and J.C. Jackson was not ruled out of the game. Just checked it again to double check. Brandon Staley just said 17 minutes ago he is not ruling J.C. Jackson out of this game, and that J.C. Jackson has a good chance of playing this Sunday.
Everything I saw from their reporters said J.C. Jackson's most likely not going to be ready for Week 1, and that they expected him to heal up, but they don't. Brandon Staley doesn't want to rush him, and of course you have to say that to get the Raiders the game plan for him. But I fully expect J.C. Jackson not playing that game.
I think that's a little bit of gamesmanship, and if he says it that way, they can rule him game time, and they can wait right up until they kick to deactivate him. So I would love to see him play if he's healthy, but I don't think he's going to play either.
But
all right, well,
I think situation with the Chargers, no J.C. Jackson, no problem, full sweep here. I got the Chargers winning this game. I think, like you said, Bill, Justin Herbert starts his campaign for the MVP strong Week 1. But I do think that Raiders offense, they're going to look good, man. And I'm curious to see Chandler Jones and Max Crosby going after the quarterback, getting after Justin Herbert. This will be fun. And it's basically just the appetizer where we're going to get 6 games, because, I mean, that whole division is just fire all around.
Now that we have the Chargers sweep, the Raiders are going to win the game.
It's usually how it goes.
Last but not least, Bucks Cowboys starts off. Cottrell.
I'll take the Bucks. I know CeeDee Lamb's not healthy, 100% healthy. I know that the Dallas Cowboys offense without Amari Cooper, I don't expect them to really be rolling in this game. I know the Bucks lost their starting center and their backup center, and Ndamukong Suh didn't come back. I don't think it matters. Tom Brady, 45, missed 10 days, 11 days of training camp. I don't think that matters either. I think that Bucks team, they're gonna be ready to go, and I think they roll in this one. Last year it was a close game between these two. This year I don't think this one is close at all. I think the Bucks win by at least 14 points, maybe even 21 points. I don't think this game was ever really close.
Shall
I'm going with Cottrell as well. I'm going with the Bucks. The only pause for concern I have is with his banged up as Tampa Bay's line is, we know who's lurking on the other side of that line for Dallas. Micah Parsons. We've seen what kind of hell and havoc he can wreak when he gets to the quarterback. That being said, I am not a fan of Dallas's offense. I think at the end of the day, you still have Dak Prescott. You got another year older Zeke Elliott, who's already showing he was slowing down last year. You got a CeeDee Lamb who's not 100% healthy, and you got Schultz who's not 100% healthy, and Amari Cooper's gone. Michael Gallup's not going to play. So I will go Tampa Bay. I think it's a much closer game. I like Tampa Bay 28, Dallas 24. I think they go into Dallas to get it done. And we'll talk about Dallas a little bit more in a little bit. But I still love Brady against that secondary. I think that secondary is weak. I think Mike Evans and Julio and those guys are going to do what they want to do. So I will go Tampa Bay.
I was picking this game up until about an hour ago. Cowboys by 3. I'm not gonna. I took it off my pick. I'm right before the show, but I think Cowboys win the football game. It's in Dallas. I think Tom Brady coming back after some weird at-home stuff that was going on. I don't think they're ready to start the season. They got a third-string center starting for them. I think Michael Parsons. I think Dan Quinn. That defense. I think Dallas starts strong. I think Dallas beats them. Got Dallas winning the football game, but I'm gonna leave it right there. Let's get into NFL pick'em.
Give us the order, Gene.
Cottrell, Bill, Gene.
All right. Well, my first pick, I got the Browns money line. Not fooling with the points. I'm taking them at the money line.
Taking freaking money lines now.
They're dogs.
We laid out. Stop it. We laid out the spreads. Anything less than 2.5, you're allowed to take the money line.
They're dogs.
They
are dogs.
They're plus. They're like plus 1.5 right now. So yeah, I'll take them at the money line. Next pick, I like the under in the New England Miami game. It's at 46.5. I think that's a situation where Tua stinks. We keep going over that. And I don't really like the New England offense. Yes, they went and got Devontae Parker, but Miami's defense is pretty solid, and I think that's going to be a low-scoring, ugly football game. So I like the under 46.5 there, and I like over 44.5 Baltimore at the New York Jets. I think Baltimore might score 40 points by themselves, so I think the over in that game is going to be a lock. 3 ugly games there, but I'm pretty confident in all 3 of them.
I have one over under, which I will always hate. But go ahead, Bill.
My first one's gonna be one of the games we just talked about. I'm taking the Chargers minus 3.5 at home against the Raiders. Like I said, I think that's one of the easiest games on the board this week. The second game I'm gonna take San Francisco on the road to Chicago minus 6.5. I think you get enough out of Trey Lance. I think you get enough big explosive plays with Devo. We talked about this as well. I think Ayuk has a good game. I think they do enough on the road. They control Chicago, who's still probably a year away with, kind of their quasi rebuild and actually getting people around Justin Fields that are productive. So I will go with San Francisco minus 6.5 on the road. And then I'm taking New Orleans minus 5.5 on the road against Atlanta. I think with all the pieces, everybody's going to play. Kamara's going to play. Michael Thomas is going to play. I think Jameis makes enough plays, and that defense obviously is going to get enough stops against Atlanta. With what they're in right now. So I like New Orleans on the road, minus 5.5.
Cottrell just has you for the Browns.
I got over under, so I'm not. There's no pick there.
I have 3. One's an over under, so I guess I can't put anything up there for that. You could put the Browns up there for me too, though. That's not one of my picks. If we want to have 3 up there, make it look cute. But this will be a TikTok video. I'm going to give a weekly pick segment. That'll be on TikTok weekly. 68% last year, 70% prior. My NFL picks have been spot on, and I expect them to stay this way all year this year. I like home dogs this week, guys. Home dogs. Remember that. So give me the Rams plus 2.5 at home tomorrow night. You want to win some coin to head into the weekend? Take your Rams plus 2.5. They're going to win a game. They're going to win it by 10 plus. 10 points, they win that football game tomorrow. Mark that down. Rams plus 2.5. I'll take the 2.5 just in case. I got the Minnesota Vikings. Minnesota Vikings plus 1. Kevin O'Connell's first game. Give me the Vikings over, I don't know, Alan Lazard and company and the Green Bay Packers. I just don't see it. I think Minnesota wins the game. I think Dalvin Cook goes nuts. It's the only game of the year he's ever healthy. It's week 1. I got Dalvin Cook, Jay Jettas, and the Minnesota Vikings. I like the Browns. They're not my third pick. My third pick is the over 42 in Chicago versus San Fran. I don't think there's a chance that goes under 42. I think San Fran scores 35. I think the over-under is listed that low is because people hear Chicago and they expect their defense to be good. I got news for you. It stinks. Chicago's going to be awful this year. They might be the worst team in football. If it wasn't for Justin Fields, that team would go 0-17. You want to talk about a franchise that has done awful things you take a quarterback 10th overall and you've done nothing to support him. Out of 32 teams, Cottrell, let me ask you this question. Out of 32 teams in the league, how many teams have a better receiving core than the Browns? Than the Bears?
How many teams have a better receiving core than the Bears? Better receiving
core than the Bears.
I'd say 30.
30 or 31. Out of 32 teams in the NFL, how many teams have a better offensive line than the Bears?
I might go all 31 on that one.
That is an absolute abomination. You take a young quarterback and you put him in a situation to where he has to play behind no offensive line and no offensive skill position weapons. That is a joke. The Chicago Bears stink, and I expect the Bears to roll in this one. 35-13, which clears. The Niners to roll in this one. 35-13, which clears the 42. That's the picks.
We're not clashing on any of them. That's nice.
That's perfectly fine. I want to get in the playoffs. Playoff predictions. Top 7 teams. AFC, NFC. We're starting with you, Cottrell.
All right. Well, got them all there. So I got some craziness in here. Number one. We'll go top to bottom. We'll start at 7, and we'll start with the AFC. I got the Browns sneaking in, man. Jacoby Brissett's going to hold it down. I fully expect the Browns to be 6-5, potentially even 7-4 by the time Deshaun Watson comes back. And I think if they're at that mark when he gets back, they're in a situation where they can absolutely make the playoffs. They're in a situation too where they play in the AFC North. A lot of that, you got to run the football effectively. And as long as Gene said it earlier, as long as Jacoby Brissett doesn't do that, turn the ball over, we'll be in good shape. Number 6, got the Las Vegas Raiders. I think the Raiders are a team that could potentially, of course, win their division, but there's just so much going on there, man. But the Raiders, I think they're going to be back in the playoffs. Josh McDaniels' first year in Vegas, they'll be perfectly fine. I got the Chiefs in the top wild card spot. Patrick Mahomes isn't going to miss the playoffs. I don't care who he's missing. No Tyreek Hill, no Tyrann Mathieu. Don't care about any of that. The Chiefs are always going to be tough to get out of there. My AFC South winner, I got the Indianapolis Colts. I don't think they're going to be a threat to anything, but I just think they're the best of what's in the slop of the AFC South. My number 3 is Baltimore Ravens. I think the Ravens win the division. I think they're going to be fully healthy. They're going to be the team to beat. And you see the clear omission right now is the team that was in the Super Bowl last year, and that's the Cincinnati Bengals. I think they were ahead of their time. I think the Bengals are very much New York Giants-esque of the Eli Manning days, where they had the nice run. Everyone's healthy this year. I don't see the Bengals winning 10 games. I don't see them making the playoffs. On number 2, I got the Buffalo Bills, team that I expect to be there when it's all said and done, going up against the Los Angeles Chargers in the AFC Championship game. On the other side, Cliff and Kyler.
I need a minute to talk about the AFC before you go to the other side. I need a minute to talk about the AFC before you go to the other side. I just want to point out that you have Jacoby Brissett and 6 games of Deshaun Watson in the playoffs over Joe Burrow and Russell Wilson. Look, I need you to understand that for 1 minute.
Listen,
you have Jacoby Brissett. No.
Listen, you're not listening.
To that. Go ahead.
We have the Browns' first 4 games of the year. Easy slate. You got Baker Mayfield, you got Joe Flacco, you got Mitch Trubisky, and you got Marcus Mariota. I think all 4 of those are very winnable. And at that point, all you got to do is win 2 out of your next 7 games. And I think Jacoby can do that.
My guy, you're marking them 4-0 versus the Steelers and Mitch Trubisky when I don't know if there's a spot on the football field the Browns are better than the Steelers at. I don't know if there's one position on the football field. One offensive line, maybe. Outside of offensive line, nobody.
I'm taking running
Mitch
backs,
is better than Jacoby.
receivers, offensive line.
Najee Harris is just as good as Nick Chubb.
Oh
Their
my God.
wide receivers are better than the Browns wide receivers. Their defensive line's better than the Browns defensive lines. Their linebackers are better than Browns linebackers. And their secondary is just as good as the Browns secondary. You are out your mind. Out your mind.
The secondary is just this good. That's crazy.
You got Minkah Fitzpatrick back there, bro. There's nobody on the Browns that's good as Minkah Fitzpatrick. He
Denzel
makes that
is
second.
in the same class as Minkah.
Stop it. He is not. He's not in the same class as Minkah Fitzpatrick. That is not fair. That's not accurate.
It's very accurate and it's very fair. Check the numbers.
My guy. You have Jacoby Brissett, and please don't touch me, Deshaun Watson, in the playoffs over Russell Wilson and Joe Burrow. I need that just to be. We'll have that screen printed.
It's not about Russell. It's not about Russell Wilson. Do I think that the Broncos are going to be a better team than the Browns? Yes. They're in the toughest division in football. I couldn't put myself putting 4 teams in the same division in the playoffs. I'll say that. Okay. The Broncos would have been that other team there. If the Broncos were in any other division, they're there instead of the Browns, but I fully expect the Browns to be better than the Bengals this year.
Nothing to do with you being from Cleveland. Nothing to do with you being a Browns fan.
Joe Burrow hasn't beaten the Browns in his career.
Give me the NFC.
It's going to change this year.
We got the Arizona Cardinals, Kyler and Cliff. They'll be at number 7. Number 6, I love the New Orleans Saints this year. I think they're going to be a really tough out for a lot of teams. I think they're going to really rely on that defense. Jameis Winston is going to be in a situation where Dennis Allen's going to tell him, don't turn the ball over, and we're in great shape. 49ers, Gene, I know how much you love them. I know you think that Trey Lance is going to be a top 10 quarterback this year. I think they're going to be very successful, but I just don't think they win that division. But I do think they have a very successful year. Number 4, one in the NFC North. I got the Green Bay Packers. As much as I wanted to pick the Minnesota Vikings here, I couldn't go against Aaron Rodgers. I think he's just going to have enough to win the division. My number 3 is the Philadelphia Eagles, NFC East winners. I think they win this division comfy. You see, I don't have any other teams in the NFC East here. I think they win the division by 3 or 4 games when it's all said and done, and they're not playing anybody week 18. My number 2 is the Los Angeles Rams. I think the Rams are in a position. They have so much talent on that team. They're going to win a ton of games, and I fully expect them to win the NFC West. Number 1, I got the GOAT, Tom Brady. I think he wins the NFC South, and I think they coast during the season. I think they get that number 1 seed going into the playoffs.
Okay, well, we get to go to me next, and mine's nuts. I got craziness. Not as crazy as Jacoby Brissett making the playoffs, but craziness. Dante, let him see it. Here we go. AFC, I got Russell Wilson, 7 seed Broncos, and that defense. Russell Wilson, 7 seed Broncos. 6 seed Joe Burrow, and that now an offensive line, and that receiving core, Joe Mixon, and the Bengals at 6. I got the Chargers at 5. Justin Herbert at league MVP. Foreshadowing, maybe. Number 5, Chargers. Brandon Staley screws a couple games up, and they don't win the division. Number 4, I got Matt Ryan and the Indianapolis Colts. I got the Indianapolis Colts defense. We got Shaquille Leonard. I got the Colts winning the AFC South. In the AFC West, I got the Kansas City Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes. Number 2 seed in the AFC, I have the Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson's betting on himself, playing for a contract. Team's a lot healthier. I think that John Harbaugh and the Ravens have a very, very successful season. And then overcoming a week 1 loss at the Los Angeles Rams, I got nobody circles the wagon like the Buffalo Bills. In the NFC, the 7 seed, I got the Dallas Cowboys sneaking in over the Cardinals, sneaking in over Jameis Winston and the Saints. It'll be a crowd at wild card, but I got the Cowboys, 7 seed. The 6 seed, I got Aaron Rodgers. I think he gets it together after a week 1 loss. The 5 seed, I got the Los Angeles Rams. with a very good record, I might add. But as you see when we come forward, the 4 seed, I got the Philadelphia Eagles winning the NFC East by 1 game. 3 seed, I have the much improved Minnesota Vikings. I believe in an offensive-minded coach. Kirk Cousins gets it done for you. Dalvin Cook, Jay Jettis. I got a feeling that the Minnesota Vikings finish on the 3 seed in the NFC. 2 seed, the GOAT, Tom Brady, recovering from a week 1 loss versus the Cowboys. I think Tampa Bay gets it rolling in October. Chris Godwin's coming back. Mike Evans. You got playoff Lenny, but the number 1 seed, I got Trey Lance and the San Francisco 49ers. I think that defense is the best defense in football. I do. I think San Francisco has an easy schedule out of the gate. They get Trey Lance accustomed to the system. He gets 3 or 4 wins out of the gate. They go 3-1, maybe 4-0 out the gate before they get into their tough games. It's an easy game to start off versus Chicago. I got the San Francisco 49ers as the 1 seed in the NFC. Shall we?
No feedback for Gene?
You can give me feedback, baby. I'm all for it. I don't have Jacoby Brissett in my playoffs.
I mean, that's fine. You got Dak Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and I don't know, your neighborhood kid on their offense.
Dalton Schultz is the top 5 tight end. Ezekiel Elliott is still top 15.
Hold on. Dalton Schultz, production-wise, will be a top 5 tight end, but that's not who he is. Let's not do that.
He had a great year last year.
He did.
Don't make me defend the Cowboys, bro. I'm in the 7th seed. If that's the biggest problem with my list, I went bold with the 49ers and the Ravens. You gonna give the Cowboys at the 7th seed?
I mean, I had the Ravens up there too. So, but no, I think the biggest thing to me though would be the Cowboys making it and no Raiders.
I couldn't pick 4 teams in the AFC South and AFC West, and there's no way in the world. Let's see, all right, offensive line is huge, right? It's very big. It's very important. Raiders have the 28th best offensive line in football right now. They just cut their first-round draft pick from last year. It was supposed to be their starting tackle. I just can't see it with that offensive line. And by the way, I'm one of the biggest Josh McDaniels haters of all time. I don't like him. I don't think he's a good head coach. I think he'll screw up a lot of football games. I think the Raiders go 8-9. I think they're good, just not great.
I think if anybody showed you last year that, of course, offensive line matters, but I think getting a talent like Devontae Adams, it's very similar to what the Bengals had last year, getting a guy like Jamar Chase, even though their line wasn't put together. I think the Raiders are going to be
I think the Raiders' offense is going to be fine. I think their pass rush is going to be fine. Outside of their offense and their pass rush, they're not good. Their offensive line stinks. Their secondary stinks. Any more feedback? Anything else? I don't mind arguing it all day, baby.
Six of my 7 on both sides match yours. So
there you go.
Let's
get into Shally's list then, baby.
Mine's gonna be out of order because I didn't send it to Dante this way. So I'll just break him down when he puts it up. So I'll start from the bottom up. So all right. So we'll go AFC. I think the Bills are going to be the number 1 seed. I think they're going to benefit from the easier division. Obviously, you guys have both touched on it. The AFC West is going to be a bloodbath. Those guys are going to beat each other up all year. The only reason I only have 2 of those teams making it is because it's really hard to get 3 teams from the same division into the playoffs. Not saying it couldn't happen, but if I had to pick a third, the Broncos would be the next team in for me over the Raiders. I think the Raiders' offense is going to be great. The rest of the team, I still have a little bit of question marks about. And like Gene said, I think they're going to be a really good team. I think they're going to be 8-9, 9-8, right around there. It's just not going to be good enough to get into the playoffs in the AFC this year. So they're my number 1 seed. Number 2 seed, I have the Los Angeles Chargers. I think that offense is going to be rolling. Their defense is going to be great with the additions they make. I think they're only number 2 seed probably by a game or 2, and they're that way just because of who they're going to play in their division over and over. Number 3 seed, I have Baltimore Ravens. Again, we've already mentioned Lamar Jackson betting on himself. Everybody forgets how many people were hurt on that team last year. They lost both their cornerbacks, within the course of a week. Dobbins was hurt. Gus Edwards got hurt. They were on the third string running back. Lamar Jackson was hurt at one point. That team dealt with crazy season-ending, devastating injuries last year. I think they're all back. Lamar Jackson obviously has everything in the world to prove. He bet on himself. He wants to make his money this year. I got the Ravens number 3 seed. Indianapolis Colts, I have number 4. I think they win a very lackluster AFC South. I think Jacksonville's a little bit improved. I agree with Gene. We've mentioned in other shows. I think Tennessee takes a step back. I don't think there's much competition in that division for them. And Houston's going to be Houston. So I think they win the 4 seed. I don't know if they win a playoff game. I like the defense, but, again, I don't know what the ceiling is with that offense yet with Matt Ryan. I need to see it. So we all know how great Jonathan Taylor is. I need to see what Matt Ryan has left. I need to see what Michael Pittman really is. And I need somebody else on that offense to step up to help both of them. So I got the Colts number 4. My top wild card team is Kansas City Chiefs. I think they lose the division by 1 game. Like I said, I have them in. You're just not going to I can, in a conscious mind, bet against Patrick Mahomes not to make the playoffs and Andy Reid. They won the Super Bowl a couple years ago. Most of that team's still there. I don't think there's any shot they miss the playoffs. My 5th seed, or 6th seed, sorry, is the Cincinnati Bengals. I just can't say that Cleveland's going to make the playoffs over Cincinnati. Give me Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase over Jacoby Brissett and Amari Cooper. It just gets sillier the more you argue, in my opinion. I think there's a little bit of a Super Bowl hangover for them. I don't think there's any shot they miss the playoffs. I'll take Cincinnati Bengals. And then the 7th seed, I went down and started comparing schedules. I really wanted to put Denver here. I did, with who they're going to play, who they're going to play down the stretch. They're going to play the Chargers the last week of the year. If that game matters, that's going to be a tough game. I think Miami's going to benefit from an easy division. Outside of Buffalo, I think they could definitely split, if not sweep, New England. I think they're going to sweep the Jets, obviously. It's 4 or 5 wins there. They have a couple easy, winnable home games. I don't think they're the 7th best team in the AFC. I think they have enough talent on that offense now to probably win games that they shouldn't. I think they're going to get in there record-wise. I don't think they're the 7th best team. I just think they're going to benefit from a lot of other teams beating up on other teams. They do have a good defense. I hate Tua. I think Tua sucks. But I think they're going to win games in spite of him. I really do. So I have the Dolphins in the number 7 seed. To go to the NFC, I have the Rams as number 1 overall seed. I think there's not going to be that much of a hangover. I think with the additions of Bobby Wagner, with the additions of Allen Robinson, I don't think it's really a matter or a case of them, even I wouldn't mention the word rebuilding, but all they really did was reload. I think you can make an argument they're better than they were last year. So I have the Rams number 1 overall seed. Number 2, winning the NFC East, I have the Philadelphia Eagles. You notice that the Cowboys are not on my list. I don't think anybody else in that division sniffs the playoffs. I don't. I think Washington overachieves a little bit. I think the Giants are a little bit better than everybody thinks they're going to be. I think Dallas is going to be middle of the pack. I really do. They have too many holes for me. I think they have – I just think they have issues behind the scenes as well. I don't know how much that team is really bought in to the coaching staff. I think there's a lot of people in that team that want Dan Quinn to be the head coach. I think there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes with Zeke. There's just a lot going on as typical Dallas fashion. I don't have them making the playoffs. The number 3 seed, I'm going to have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I think at the beginning of the season, as good as they are on offense, I think an offensive line is going to struggle to gel, and I think it caused them problems here and there. Maybe have them lose a game or 2 that they shouldn't. But by the end of the year, I think they're rolling. They're going to get Godwin back. You're looking at a 3-headed monster of Godwin, Julio Jones, and Mike Evans with Tom Brady throwing the football. It's just crazy to me. So I have them as the number 3 seed. And then the 4 seed, I agree with Gene. I think the Minnesota Vikings win the NFC North this year. I don't think we can understate enough how much the loss of Devontae Adams is going to hurt the Packers. We all know Aaron Rodgers is great. I hate him, but we all know how great he is. But to Gene's point, you're giving me Lazard and what? Like, what else are we doing there? I think with the Vikings have an offensive-minded coach now. I think Dalvin Cook has a great year. I think Jefferson and Thielen both have good years. Kirk Cousins will put up insane numbers, probably a bunch of numbers, necessarily when the games don't matter. But I think the Vikings win the North by a game. 5th seed for me, I have the Saints. I think they lose the game. I think they lose the division in Tampa Bay by a game as well. I think that goes down to the wire. Great defense is going to anchor that. As long as they can carry Jameis Winston, and Jameis Winston plays safe football like he did 2 years ago, not throw 30 interceptions, I think they're in every game. That defense is going to keep them in every game. Next team I have is a team that I might be wrong about. I have the 49ers ranked the second wild card. And I say that I think if any of these teams are going to win a division, it would be the 49ers. I like Trey Lance. I don't love him as much as Gene does. I think we've seen the brilliance he possesses. I think we've seen the ceiling and the potential. I just don't know how consistent he's going to be, and that's what worries me. I love their defense. I love Deebo Samuel. I love Kyle Shanahan. I just don't know if we're going to get that brilliance week in and week out his first season. If he does, then I'm probably going to be wrong on this one. I think they might win the division then. But I have him making the playoffs anyway. I think there's a couple games where he just might make a bad decision, might cost them a football game. It is the NFL. They're going to play in some tight games. He is, for better lack of a term, he's a rookie this year. There's going to be some mistakes that he's going to make. And that's the only reason I have him in the wild card. And then the last wild card, I have Green Bay Packers. As much as they did lose, they still have a good defense. They have a good offensive line they can run behind. And they do still have Aaron Rodgers, as much as he annoys me. I think he has enough magic left in him to get them in the playoffs this year. And I have them as finishing the lowest wild card.
Sally, I understand your prediction on the 49ers. That's where most people are. I'll tell you right now, either me or Peter King are going to be dead wrong. Okay. Peter King just projected today that Trey Lance is going to lose a starting job at week 7. I've heard that twice.
I don't agree with that at all.
All right. So let's get into our Super Bowl predictions. Cottrell?
All right. I got the Los Angeles Chargers going up against the New Orleans Saints, and I got the Los Angeles Chargers coming out on top. Everything I've been high on the Chargers. You guys saw I had Justin Herbert, number 1 quarterback. I love what they have defensively. We talk about their linebackers being their weakest link, but when you got guys like Kenneth Murray there, I think that's good enough. I think as a whole, that's probably the most well-rounded team in the league, and I think that they're going to ultimately go on to win a Super Bowl. As for the Saints, I think they're going to rely heavily on their defense, obviously. We saw Jameis Winston throw 30 interceptions, and I understand, you can't turn the ball over and win in the NFL. I think with all those weapons there, they make Jameis look a little bit better. Last year, he wasn't terrible. Granted, he wasn't good either, but they were winning football games while he was in. And if you look at their play after he left, it was crazy. Ian Book was in there, and if he gave them any sense of anything, the Saints would have been in the playoffs last season. So I think Jameis Winston does the bare minimum, gets Saints to the playoffs, and they rely on their defense the rest of the way to get them all the way to the Super Bowl. But I got the Chargers coming out on top.
Listen, I guess we're all being bold. I don't have the Saints in my playoffs. You got them in the Super Bowl. Here we go. I got mine. For the AFC, I got the Buffalo Bills. I got the Buffalo Bills coming out of the AFC. For the NFC, I got Trey Lance and the San Francisco 49ers. I think the two of the top defenses in football, the Bills and the 49ers. And I think you're going to see a lot of explosiveness from the two offenses from the Bills and the 49ers. But this one is the first Super Bowl in the history of their franchise. And I'll say it again. Nobody circles the wagon like the Buffalo Bills. the Buffalo Bills win the Super Bowl this year. And Steve Berman's prediction for like 15 straight years, Bills versus 49ers, finally comes true. I got Bills over 49ers.
So I went back and forth with my AFC. I couldn't pick between the Buffalo Bills and the Los Angeles Chargers. That's who my AFC Championship game is. My NFC Championship game, I have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers against the Los Angeles Rams. My final decision was I went with Tampa Bay versus the Chargers in the Super Bowl. Tom Brady goes for 8, which is the craziest thing in the goddamn world to even say, versus Justin Herbert, that offense and that defense. As much as I would love to write the ride off into the sunset moment for Brady to win 8, just walk away from the game once and for all, and set even more records that probably nobody's ever going to touch, I can't do it. I try to talk myself into it. I promise. I promise I did. But I'm not going to do it. I'm going with my gut here. I think the Los Angeles Chargers, I think Justin Herbert finally stamps his name as officially arriving and being elite and winning the Chargers a Super Bowl. I got the Los Angeles Chargers winning the Super Bowl.
For the record, just so it's clear, I had the 49ers over the Buccaneers in the NFC Championship game, and I had the Buffalo Bills over the Kansas City Chiefs in the AFC Championship game. I have Lamar losing to Kansas City at home in the AFC semifinals. Just to be clear, just so we can all have that out there. We got awards now. Cottrell, you get to start us.
All right.
NFL award winners.
All right. So full list here. We'll start from the bottom, work its way up. Comeback player of the year, I got Derrick Henry. I think this is going to be a 2-horse race between Derrick Henry and Michael Thomas. And Derrick Henry controls what happens for his seasons a lot more than what Michael Thomas does. So I got Derrick Henry winning this one. Coach of the year, I got Brandon Staley. I've already said I think the Chargers are going to be the number 1 seed, and I think they're going to win the Super Bowl. And I think Staley wins Coach of the year. My defensive rookie of the year, I got Kayvon Thibodeau. I think Kayvon Thibodeau I understand that he got hurt in the preseason, but everything I've read, if he's not ready week 1, he'll for sure be ready by week 2. My offensive rookie of the year, they got one of the only guys who's the receiver 1 on his team. That's Drake London. The running backs this year, there wasn't any crazy high running backs. I know Breece Hall is on the Jets, but he has Michael Carter right behind him. And then you can talk about all the receivers that came out in this class as well. Drake London is a number 1 receiver. He's already been listed number 1 on the depth chart. I think his volume is what's going to ultimately win him this award. My offensive player of the year, Jay Jettis, Justin Jefferson. We talked about it on the receiver show. I had a number 1. I think he gets really close to 2,000 yards when it's all said and done this upcoming season. So I think this award is going to be his to lose. My defensive player of the year, the guy who I had number 2 on our D-line list, that's Max Crosby. In a division where you got 3 other teams that love to pass the football, and you got Chandler Jones on the opposite side of you, I think Max Crosby is going to be primed to get after the quarterback, and his numbers are going to show when it's all said and done. And then my MVP, Justin Herbert of the Los Angeles Chargers. I think he caps off the special season. You get the 1 seed, you help your coach get Coach of the Year, you win the Super Bowl, you get Super Bowl MVP, and you get MVP of the league.
I do not have as many awards as Cottrell does. I didn't put Offensive Player of the Year, and I didn't put Comeback Player of the Year. I think that Offensive Player of the Year is going to be Justin Jefferson, just to be clear. I think the Comeback Player of the Year, I feel like that Cottrell's nailed those 2 picks. They're the only 2 I agree with one more. Here goes my list. Coach of the Year. Obviously, if I have him the number 1 seed in the NFC, I have to have Kyle Shanahan as Coach of the Year. If that offense looks anything like I think it will, if Trey Lance looks anything like I think it will, I think Coach of the Year is Kyle Shanahan. The next 2 picks are telling you I think the Houston Texans are going to be a better football program than you think they will be. I got Derek Stingley Jr. winning Defensive Rookie of the Year, and I have Dameon Pierce winning Offensive Rookie of the Year. I think Dameon Pierce will be I think Dameon Pierce will be the highlight of that offense. I think he's going to catch the ball in the backfield. I think he's going to run the ball for over 1,000 yards. I think he'll have the most production out of any rookie in the NFL this year. I think it will be Dameon Pierce's award to lose. Defensive Player of the Year. Oh, it's Nick, not Knicks, but I like Knicks. We'll go with Knicks. Nick Bosa, Defensive Player of the Year. I think that he's going to have a great year. I think that defense is going to be unbelievable for San Fran. I know, man. Don't sweat the typos. And then MVP of the year, I have the same guy Cottrell does. I got Justin Herbert. I think it's a little bit of both. I think it's more of that offense is just geared perfectly around him. Do I think he's the best quarterback in football? No, I told you that earlier. But I think he will have the best statistical year, and I think he will win most valuable player, Justin Herbert.
All right. See which order that
Oh man, I love
Yes.
Coach of the Year.
So I'm starting at the bottom. And this isn't really me being a homer. I think they're going to overachieve. You still have a lot of people that are picking Dallas Cowboys to win the division. I don't think they do. I think the Eagles do, and I think it's comfy. I'm going with Nick Sirianni, Coach of the Year. Not only that, I think there's a shot the Eagles get the 2 seed. So the only thing I will caution all Eagles fans about all of this is when I am this optimistic about the Philadelphia Eagles, it spells doom, horrible doom usually for everyone. So that being said, I'm going Coach of the Year. I'm going Nick Sirianni. And I think he's got a decent shot to win it. Defensive Rookie of the Year, I'm going Aiden Hutchinson, Detroit Lions. We've seen him in Hard Knocks. Everything you've read about him coming out from the coaching staff, everything. He's been everything as advertised. I think he's going to do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I think he'll probably have somewhere around 8 sacks maybe. I think he's going to have some tackles for losses. High motor guy. I love the kid. I'm a little bit biased because I've watched him play for so long. But I think he's got a really decent shot at winning this award. I do. Offensive Rookie of the Year, I agree with Gene. And I had the same mindset that Cottrell did when I went to pick this. You know, who is consistently going to get touches? I love Breece Hall, but he's going to split that backfield with Carter. You know, and it really came to the last 2 guys it came down to for me were Drake London and Dameon Pierce. And I think Dameon Pierce is just going to have more opportunities to touch the football than Drake London's going to. He's going to be RB1. That's why they cut Mac. And to Gene's point, I think he's going to be the highlight of the year for that offense, along with Brandon Cooks probably. So I'm going with Dameon Pierce. Defensive Player of the Year, a little off the board, more of a gut feeling type thing. I'm going to go Myles Garrett. I think he finally gets his award. I do. I think if he could stay on the field for 17 weeks this year, I think he's going to get a little bit more pub because of what they're going to deal with the adversity of not having Watson for the first 11 weeks. If Cleveland can stay competitive and he's putting up monster numbers, I think he's going to get a way bigger push for this award than maybe, you know, Donald or even TJ Watt does because of how important that defense is going to be to Cleveland winning football games this year. That's why I took Myles Garrett. MVP, we agree across the board, which is probably scary. So if you have money on him, I would probably change your bet ASAP. Justin Herbert. To Gene's point, you know, I said at my QB rankings, I don't think he's the best quarterback in the league this year. I think he's going to win the MVP, though. I think he's going to have an amazing statistical season. I think he's going to be the absolute catalyst for that team, making a deep playoff run. I have him winning the Super Bowl. You do all those things, it's a probably pretty good shot you win the MVP. I've been a huge Herbert guy since he came out. You know, one of our first shows we ever did was a discussion between him and Burrow, and I've always had him slightly a little bit higher than Burrow. And I think this year proves it a little bit. I know Gene doesn't, but I love Joey B. We all chose who we could pick if we chose two. I was the only one that picked Herbert.
When we first talked about Justin Herbert, we did a top 10 list of 5 quarterbacks that were under 25 years old and 5 quarterbacks that were coming out of the draft. And you had Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, that first list. I still have that list. You did change it after watching half of Justin Herbert's rookie season, which is understandable, but that's not the first thing that we talked about. I'm just be clear about that because I remember the moment that we start arguing that. I remember the moment we start arguing.
I will say though, Bill, I'm disappointed in you, man. You gave me so much crap a few weeks ago about Myles Garrett being higher than TJ Watt, and then you go pick the guy for Defensive Player of the Year, and then you had Justin Herbert at 3, and you pick him to win MVP.
And I explained both picks precisely. I explained why I think Myles Garrett's going to win it. If that team is going to be successful, it's because that defense is going to have a monster year until Deshaun Watson gets back.
I'm good with that. Should have put him number 1 on your list.
I don't think he's a better player than Aaron Donald or TJ Watt.
It was production. It was a productions list. We're not saying who's better.
And he can have a slightly least productive year and still win that award because of what he's going to mean to that team.
If he has them as the 1 seed, though, which is you have San Diego as the Los Angeles Chargers as your 1 seed, right?
Yep.
Wins matter. I get it.
Sure.
I understand that point.
Yeah, but if you get MVP, look, Gene, we went out on our branch. We had him number 1, and
You're
Bill
making me regret picking a Cleveland Brown already. I will switch my goddamn list right now if you keep it up.
Good, you already went homer with Aiden and Nick, so go. I don't want your Browns pity.
That's fine.
There's no way if Nick Sirianni wins Coach of the Year, I'll do whatever the top comment says.
Here's my other issue with your list here, Bill. You got Nick Sirianni winning Coach of the Year. And you got the Vikings. I'll tell you right now, if the Vikings are the 3 seed in the NFC,
he has the Eagles the 2 seed.
It doesn't matter. Kevin O'Connell is winning that award. Nick Sirianni is not. They were in the playoffs last year.
I think everybody would agree that roster for roster, the Minnesota Vikings offense is better than the Philadelphia Eagles.
Agreed.
If the Vikings make the playoffs after not making the playoffs and they're a top 3 seed, Kevin O'Connell is winning that award.
They're gonna make the playoffs mainly because they're gonna play a little bit better, but also because what Green Bay lost. That has nothing to do with Kevin O'Connell.
I got it. Can I read that out loud, Dante? Do you mind if I give that prediction on the air?
I just saw it. I tried to minimize it before my brain remembered it.
So his Super Bowl, who do you have winning it? Do you mind typing who you have winning it? His Super Bowl, Dante's Super Bowl is the Chargers over the Vikings. Here's my only gripe with that, which I can see it happening.
It's bold, baby.
Kevin O'Connell. It's bold. I love bold. I just don't know if Kirk Cousins can win those playoff games prime time. His record when the lights get bright, Kirk just isn't right. A little Muhammad Ali action for you. When the lights get bright, Kirk isn't right. But Chargers over Vikings is Dante's. I like it.
Vikings don't play enough defense. That's literally the only reason why I didn't have them making the playoffs. Their offense is going to be insane, though.
Agreed. All righty, fellas. That's our NFL week preview. That's our week 1 preview, our NFL season preview, our Super Bowl preview. And we gave it to you all on show 100. We got one more topic to get into. And listen, I like leaving this for last because got to talk about funerals, man. They're happening. UFC 279 preview. Oh, and by the way, I have just small, slight plays for the card. You guys, what do you guys, Cottrell, start us off. You tell me what you think of the card as a whole, which I think the card is garbage. But,
the card sucks.
But go ahead, let's just start us off.
I mean, just everything on the card. Kevin Holland's on the card. Of course, I like watching Kevin Holland fight. If he's not fighting a top 15 guy, I like Kevin Holland to win. Not sure what his odds are. Didn't go back and look at it.
He's minus 210. It's not bad.
I like Kevin Holland to win that fight. Tony Ferguson moving up to welterweight, going up against Li Jiliang.
The Leech.
That's how you pronounce his last name.
The Leech. Just call him the Leech. That's his name, the Leech.
I think, when fighters move up or they go down in weight at the end of their careers, it's very telling. Tony didn't look bad his last fight against Michael Chandler. We saw how it ended, though. I guess I don't know what the line is on that fight. I'd probably take Tony in it just because I think Tony's
a dog. He's a plus 240 dog. And what you're doing is you're stealing my thunder. And that's okay. You can steal my thunder all you want. I like Tony Ferguson, too, as a very live dog at plus 240. There's another dog I like, too. And it's female fighting. But I love Macy Chiasson. I love Macy Chiasson as a plus 155 dog. I think that she wins her fight. She's going against Irene Aldana from Mexico, who's a knockout artist. And I don't think Yeah.
No, I was gonna let you finish. You said Irene is a knockout artist. That's what I was gonna say. I don't. You said it pretty confidently. I don't know about that. I think Irene. If I had to pick it, I'd pick Irene to win it.
Macy doesn't get knocked out. She's very, very good. She's very technical. She's been submitted once and lost by decision once. Macy doesn't get knocked out. She's very, very good at staying out of those situations. And if she does, she'll outpoint her. It'll be an ugly fight, but she's a very live plus 155 dog. I like Macy in that fight. I like Tony too. I really think that Tony, I mean, we're all kidding ourselves, right? Like Michael Chandler's like number 2 or number 3. But like we all watched that first round. Tony Ferguson dominated that first round. He got caught with a kick. At the end of the day, he got caught with a kick. He's going up to 170. He's fighting the Leech, who, by the way, got absolutely annihilated by Khamzat. Like that was the fight where, and the Leech is considered like one of the next great 170 fighters, and he's a huge favorite over Tony Ferguson. After Khamzat beat the dog shit out of that man, I mean that was absolute destruction. So. It's funny how they're on the same card. I like Tony and I like Macy. And I think if you put $100 on both of them, at least one of them wins. It's free money. You're winning $55 or 140 with the plus 240. So they're my little undercard specs. The card is awful. I can't say this on there, but I won't be buying it. But Shelly, any tidbits on the card before we get into the main event?
No, this card's cheeks all the way around. I can't stand it. If it wasn't for the main event, nobody in their right mind would buy this. It should. I think Cottrell said it earlier a couple days ago. This is like a decent fight night card, and yet like they're gonna make people pay $60 for it. So no, I hope everybody gets COVID and doesn't fight.
I think this is. I think.
Whoa! Don't say
crazy.
That on air.
Yeah, that's crazy. I think this is Dana's final, like, this is him giving Nate Diaz the bird. He's like, look, if you want your money, you're leaving my company anyway, sell your own card. You know, I'm not giving you any free extra money by having people underneath you.
He's the main event, so he's getting pay-per-view buys. You're right.
So I think that's the reason for it. If anybody else was headlining this card, it'd be much better.
Okay, so let's talk about the main event. I feel like every single hype video for this card, every single person that you listen to for this card is trying to sell you on why they think Nate Diaz has a chance in this fight. I think that if I was trying to be optimistic for Nate Diaz, I think that Nate Diaz might be able to catch Khamzat in a submission attempt from the bottom while Khamzat is absolutely destroying him on the ground. I think that's the opportunity that Nate has. I don't think there's any other opportunity in the fight. I think Khamzat Chimaev will absolutely ground and pound him. I think he'll take him down. I think he'll beat on him. I think he's going to destroy him on the ground. I think it might be a 3rd round doctor stoppage. Or a 3rd round knockout. I think this fight does not leave the 3rd round, and I would not be surprised if Nate Diaz quits in the fight, just takes a dive to get out of the UFC, get out of his contract. I would not be surprised if that happens. You heard that here first. Nate Diaz takes a fall, so maybe sprinkle a little money on 3rd round TKO KO for Chimaev, and then take a 1st round Chimaev by 1st round win. I think either one of those plays, you can play both of them, and they could be winners, and the return will be well. But I don't see any other way outside of Chimaev getting cocky and getting caught in a submission move, because Diaz is unbelievable off his back. He fights half his career. So anybody give me anything different here?
I think Chimaev wins 2nd round stoppage. I think Nick gets stopped. I don't think it's a doctor stoppage. I think he gets TKO'd. I don't know. There is a part of me that believes kind of what you said, Gene. There's a part of me that goes in there and think he, tries to give Dana the bird back and just kind of messes around and, maybe quits or maybe dives. Like, there's a part of me that believes Nate Diaz makes a spectacle out this whole thing flips everybody off out the door and rolls out. But I think if he goes in to really fight, minus a lucky submission, which I don't see happening because I don't think he's going to be in the headspace to do it. I think he's going to get dominated. I think he's going to get beat up really bad. I think he's going to get hurt. And I think he gets stopped. I think his last fight in the UFC, I think he gets stopped. Second round, end of the second round, ground and pound, all she wrote. Let's move on to the next card. Like this whole thing. I made, I've never hid my hatred for the Diaz brothers, so I will be extremely happy when he's gone.
Gene, I haven't really agreed with you all night. It's been you and Bill agreeing. Here, I'm 110% on board with what you said. There's only two possible outcomes in this fight, and I think the one outcome is 98% likely going to happen. I think it's going to be a doctor stoppage, and it's going to happen in the third round. Nate's going to be ready to go out for the fourth. I think Herb Dean's going to motion in the doctor to come in, look at Nate's face. They're like, this isn't getting any better. Nate's got to stop fighting. And I think that's going to be it. I do think, though, the only way for Nate to win, Khamzat going to Nate's guard, Khamzat's cocky, and he just gets his arm caught in a spot that it's not supposed to be in. Khamzat hasn't ever had to worry about that with anybody else before him. I know he fought Gilbert Burns, but, that fight never really got to the ground. And Nate Diaz by far has the most dangerous guard of anybody that Khamzat's fought so far in the UFC. So I think there's a 2% chance that Nate Diaz wins via submission and a 98% chance that it's a doctor stoppage third round in that fight.
That's all we really got for UFC 279. I can't give much of a preview on a card that I think is terrible. And I think that you're absolutely right when you said Dana White sticks it to Nate Diaz by not giving him great pay-per-view buys. I think Khamzat's the attraction here for any real UFC fighter, UFC fight fan. And I think that the way you got to look at it is Khamzat has destroyed everybody he's fought. And whether it be submission, which he had in just a minute and 48 seconds versus the Leech, whether it be decision over Gilbert Burns, which turned out to be a better fight than expected after Khamzat absolutely destroyed Gilbert Burns in the first round. But with that being said, Nate Diaz does not, it's not a fighter puncher's chance. Even people that are Nate Diaz's friends from Nate Diaz's camp can't pick Nate Diaz. They just can't. George St. Pierre, who is, by the way, the worst shit talker in the history of ever, was talking about the fight recently, and he's just like, Nate is very good, but I have to go with the favorite and Chimaev. Like, I just think that Khamzat wins this one. Let's get into You Gotta Be Kidding Me. Cottrell, I need to hear Bill's. I'm like super excited about it. But let me hear Bill's, or let me hear Cottrell's first.
All right, so my You Gotta Be Kidding Me this week is it's really a whole mixture of the LSU Tigers. One, you got Desmond Little, who muffed not only one but two punts in a game. One of them being in the final 2 minutes where LSU would be getting the ball back, and muffed it, gave the ball to Florida State in the red zone. My other issue with LSU was they got one field goal and one extra point blocked in that game. Special teams blunders. Clearly they matter. That's why LSU lost the football game. And then number 3 was Brian Kelly throwing Desmond Little basically under the bus in his post-game comments, saying, he's shown us in practice that, the way his talent is and how elite his talents are, that he was ready for this moment. Clearly he wasn't, and that's on us. So I don't think you could do that. And I think that it's a situation where I'm rooting for LSU to lose as many games as possible while Brian Kelly is there. So for this week, for me, LSU.
Come on.
You're kidding me.
Using the speaker. I like it, Dante.
Speaker.
Shally, I need to hear it.
All right, so this happened actually right before we came on air. If you go back about a month and a half, 2 months, Freddie Freeman went back to Atlanta, was very emotional. First time being in Atlanta after playing there for 9 years. And then a whole bunch of drama started. Doug Gottlieb, who used to work for ESPN and got let go there because he wanted too much money, then went to Fox, where he also flamed out there, mainly because he's a jackass. He went on air on his podcast and made the statement that he knew for a fact that Freddie Freeman's agent, Casey Close, didn't give Freddie Freeman the Atlanta Braves final offer. What people don't realize about all this is this actually started a lot of in-house problems for the Dodgers. Clayton Kershaw had to hold a players-only meeting because they felt like Freddie Freeman wasn't all in, caused a strife in their clubhouse. A lot of things down the road. Freddie Freeman had to speak and clear the air, saying he wanted to be a Dodger. It was just emotional to go back and see all the people he knew for so long, so forth and so on. His agent, Casey Close, from the absolute beginning of this, vehemently denied all this. Said he's been with Freddie Freeman from the get-go. He gave him all offers that were ever sent to him. Freddie Freeman considered firing him because he didn't really know what to believe. Well, lo and behold, jackass Doug Gottlieb today, after Casey Close filed a huge defamation of character lawsuit, came out today and said it was all a lie and recanted. He came up with a BS statement saying after conferring with his sources, so forth and so on, that he realized the statement wasn't true and the story was never true. That's all a lie as well. Casey Close hasn't come out and said if he's going to drop the lawsuit yet. I hope that he doesn't. Doug Gottlieb is irrelevant in terms of national broadcasters these days. He's flamed out of the two biggest sports stations in the country. And he's the reason it's harder for everybody that wants to do this for a living, saying fake shit just to get clicks. Well, you did it. Your net worth isn't that much. I hope that Casey Close takes every cent that you have. And I mean that sincerely. You didn't have any sources. You didn't have any people inside Atlanta's front office or anything like that. You said it because you thought that it was true based upon a stupid conversation you had that was never related to this contract. You caused Freddie Freeman issues. You caused the Dodgers issues. You caused the Braves issues. And it's the reason you're not on Fox anymore, because you got caught doing clickbait stuff. I hope you just get canceled. I do. I really do. I don't say that lightly because I hate cancel culture in general, especially when it's not really, fact-based. But this one is. You lied, dude. You lied to get yourself on the front page of every baseball page there was on the internet, and you succeeded. But it's going to cost you. It's going to cost you your livelihood, and I hope it costs you a lot of money. So for this week, for me, Doug Gottlieb, you suck, dude. I hope you go away for a long time.
You're kidding me.
Guys, I think I have my greatest you got to be kidding me of all time. Of all time. I don't know if anybody knows this, if you've been living under a rock. Just recently, one of the greatest tennis stars of all time, Serena Williams, hung it up at the U.S. Open after a third-round loss. This isn't about Serena Williams. How many people know who Margaret Court is?
I do.
Okay. So Margaret Court, who did an exclusive interview after Serena Williams retired. And in the interview, I have to read it. Serena has played 7 years more than I did. I finished in my early 30s. People forget that I took 2 years out. I first retired like Ash Barty when I was 25, thinking I would never return to tennis. I got married, had a baby, but then had one of my best years, winning 24 out of 25 tournaments. I came back after 2 babies. After having the first baby, I won 3 out of 4 slams, and Serena hasn't won a slam since. I would have loved to have played in this era. I think it's much easier. How I would have loved to taken family or friends along with me, but I couldn't. I had to go on my own with the national team. People don't see that. As amateurs, we had to play every week because we didn't have any money. Now they can take off whenever they want and fly back whenever they want. The headline reads, I don't think I admire Serena Williams, but I don't think she's ever admired me. Margaret Court needs to shut her mouth. And to take it a step further, I don't know how you can, if you admire someone and you expect to be admired from them, why take away from the week right after she just retired from tennis? Listen, if you have issues with her not giving you your roses for being a great Australian tennis player late, like 40 years ago, that's fine. But don't say you admire someone and then take shots at them the week of their retirement. Wait 6 months, wait 8 months if you really have an issue. But that's not the deeper issue. The deeper issue is everybody, the greatest female tennis player of all time, retiring, Serena Williams, and Margaret Court just couldn't deal with that. I'm better. Look at me. It's the exact reason why Margaret Court and a lot of her very controversial comments got her thrown out of the tennis spotlight to begin with. Margaret Court won a lot of Grand Slams in the 70s. That's awesome. Serena Williams is the greatest tennis player ever to live, and the athletes today are stronger, faster, and better. And if Margaret Court would have played with Serena and Venus Williams, she would have got her ass handed to her. So for this week, Margaret Court.
You gotta be kidding me.
That's show 100. It's 100 shows, boys. 100. Any final comments on show 100? Because I have a list. I have a little small, like a minute and a half ending.
Oh boy. Very, very curious to hear. I don't have anything, so I'm clean.
Shally?
I mean, listen. I mean, there's not a million, but you know, there's a lot of people to thank for a lot of this. I think a lot of, there's a lot of talk when we first started doing this, like wasn't going to work. It wasn't going to do this. It wasn't going to do that. And I mean, here we are, episode 100. We're growing, the show's getting better. We partner with Dante now. Have to thank Mike and Toxic Radio. We wouldn't be here without them. That's where we started, and now we're here with Dante and the ECG guys. And we're continuing to grow. We have the Empire guys now that we're a part of as well. Shout out to all those guys that we've jumped on board with. But I could sit here for a while and I'll still miss people. But, for me personally, I've been blessed with two amazing co-hosts that I love as people and human beings and as co-hosts. And, Cottrell moved and the show's still going strong with him out in Cleveland. I definitely have to thank, a lot of my friends, especially my sister and Travis, who have been on board since day one. JD watches the show all the time. It's a lot, man. I really do wish a lot of people would know how much we do put into this show and how much time it consumes. I could definitely get comments from people that are not happy I spent as much time doing stuff on this show. But it's been a blessing, man. It's been fun. It's 100 shows. I hope we have 100 more in us and then some. I think we've all gotten better as we've gone. The show's gotten better. I think the sky's still the limit. Like I said, it's anybody who's ever supported us, shared the website, liked it, commented, PD, Michael Robert Lafferty, all those guys that have been on board since day one. I thank you. And it's, that's just a small snippet. I'm sure Gene's got more of them. But it's, the only thing I really just want to express overall is just gratitude. It's humbling at times. And we're very grateful for it. I promise.
You guys watched me go through one of the hardest transitions in my life when the show first started. You guys watched me through a lot, and every week I'd still get on here Wednesday night, hype, smiling, giving everything I got. First thing I need to do is I need to thank Docs Radio for helping with the graphics, the logo, the intros and things like that. Need to thank my man Snow for the intro graphic, Snowman.
So now I forgot Snow.
Love. That's all right. It's okay. Huge thank you to Dante and ECG, man. Like what he's done to just step in and just help with the graphics and take his entire Wednesday night to help us out is I couldn't thank him enough. Honestly, I just it's amazing how you meet people through a podcast and you become friends with them and care about them and really just like wish them the best for their families and everything. And like meeting Don and Key and so many people, Marcus and so many people at the ECG practice, man. I could just I can go on forever. Man, Dante and Heather have been awesome. So just thank you for them. I'm gonna go a step further and talk to the people that have been listening to us since we started. The Timmy Todds that just there's so many sports Timmy Todd doesn't like, but yet every show he's one of the first people in the comments, and he's listening to the show in the background while he's playing Call of Duty. And we're talking about golf, who he has zero care about, but he'll listen to it and try to comment every time. Joseph Jeffers, Audia, Michael Robert Lafferty, Travis and Katie. There's so many people I can continue. Petey and Hack. There's so many people that hop on here weekly that keep us going strong and listen to us. To people like Jonathan Tishbon, who listens to the show Thursday morning, who hasn't missed one. To Brad Atkins, who hits me up on Friday, like, hey man, no show this week. This is my drive into work. Like, and when he downloads us through Spotify, like there's so many people. And like, I promise you, I can go on and there's people and I'm missing people. Tiny. I can't forget Tiny. Tiny's like one of my favorite people ever. Meeting her in person. I was at Contrell's wedding, man. It's a guy I worked with in Philadelphia. I drove 6 hours to go to his wedding and meet his family, man. It's just what this show has brought to me is a piece of happiness. And I've learned throughout the years as I was going through a lot of troubles to have an attitude of gratitude. And I'm grateful. And I'm grateful for every single person that listens in, that comments weekly, that downloads our show, that shares us, that downloads everything. And I want to thank you guys so much because it means the world to me. I promise you, you will see me with this mic more and more as you turn on Facebook or YouTube. This is my dream. I love this. So I appreciate Bill and Cottrell. Last but not least, dude, our group chat's got to be like 2 million long with all the text messages. I mean, who's the first person that we talk to sports about anything that happens? And it's you guys in the group chat. And,
I have to mute it some days.
Yo, I get it, bro. It's fine. Mute it. But we love this. This is like something that we watch it. We truly like. I'm gonna get done this, and I'm gonna watch a replay of the Phillies game, which I hope they won, because this is what we do. We love this. I have 2 TVs. You can't see it, but I have 2 TVs set up in my living room so I can watch Red Zone and the Eagles at the same time because I can't miss football. But that's all I got for show 100. I just want to thank you guys. And if I missed someone, trust me, I truly apologize. I love you. I appreciate it. Thank you. This is show 100, Wire to Wire.